I'm Connor Northup, and I'm joined by lightweight prospect Gabriel Barletta. Gabriel, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are we doing, Connor?
Good. Thanks for taking the time to join me. What's Florida like right now?
Florida, it's kind of divided, man. If you're north of Palm Beach County, you're kind of in that I guess what the governor's calling phase 1 or 2, where things are moving along to back to what normal's gonna be. And if you're in the south part of Florida, Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, uh, yeah, you're kind of still on lockdown. There's not much open. Things that are open, like grocery stores, you have to use a mask and whatnot, like a lot of parts of the country. And yeah, it's really odd. Half the state is divided. Half people are just kind of going about it like it's nothing, and half people are still taking it pretty serious.
Yeah. As far as like these phases too, how's that like affected your training?
Uh, you know, I I've been very fortunate during this whole time. I've been able to work with what I got. I've been able to get my road work in, and I've have a few training partners that I've kind of taken that brotherly oath of we're gonna take care of each other and not go
Yeah.
around going to the beach and mess around with random people, because we want to keep training with each other, and there's only about 4 or 5 of us, so that's been good. And it's been different, but we make it happen.
Yeah. And I know you're a Florida guy too. You train at AT&T, and your first 4 pro fights were in Florida too. Why Maverick MMA? Your last fight?
Man, I love everything about fighting. I was fortunate when I was an amateur to, I got to fight in the Bahamas. I fought all over Florida, and as well as I do, Florida is the size of 2 or sometimes 3 states, depending on how big. So,
Yeah.
it's a wide variety. So I've never been afraid of getting out of the box and shying away from competition. So the opportunity to go to a different state, or if I can go to a different country or any part of the world, I'm gonna fight. A fight's a fight. You put me in there, 2 hands, 2 feet, a referee, go.
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned you fought in Bahamas too. Like, how did that fight like come to be?
Oh man, how did that happen? That was like my second or third amateur fight. It was the first ever. It was the first ever MMA event in the Caribbean, and you know what? Mike Perry headlined it,
Oh
and
wow.
another UFC star, Jillian Robertson, was on it.
Oh wow.
She was an amateur. Her and I were teammates, and we flew out together to do our amateur fights. It was a pro-am. Mike Perry was the professional, and a few other guys. I wish I could remember their names, but it was a pretty good card for my second or third amateur fight. And I forget how we got that one, but it came about, and they were like, "You want to go to the Bahamas?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
sure." Why not? It was pretty quick notice too, but I was pretty happy. I was my first year of MMA. I was trying to get on it. As many fights
Yeah.
as I could.
As far as like the actual like experience and getting to go somewhere, has any place topped that yet?
Uh, you know, Not for MMA. When I was wrestling, I got to go to a few places that were really cool. But honestly, Puerto Rico is really cool. I got to wrestle in Puerto Rico, and I stayed at the Olympic Training Center with some teammates out in Puerto Rico, and it's pretty Americanized, San Juan and whatnot. But
Hmm.
that country was fun to do.
Yeah, cool. And as far as like your MMA career goes too, is it easier to kind of like fight on the road? You said that you kind of you like to travel and that kind of thing. Like, but is that almost like easier than a place where maybe you would have like a lot of supporters kind of behind you?
Uh, I I'm an optimist, So like if I'm
Yeah.
away, I look at it like he's got the pressure. I just go out there and do what I
Hmm.
do every day. If I'm home, I like to, I don't know. I'm a performer at the same time.
Yeah.
I love the support. It's never. I don't mind getting booed. I don't mind getting cheered. Like I said in the beginning, I truly love to fight. I love the
Yeah.
competition. I love everything about it. So you know that's why I do it.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say it.
Was that like love for the sport too? Did that happen over time, or was it kind of instant?
Definitely over time. There was no game plan to come into MMA until I was in MMA.
Yeah.
It was kind of just like go. I was helping a buddy out with some wrestling. I ended up buying. He gave me some gloves. I didn't even buy gloves. He gave me the gloves, and I boiled like a little $2 mouthpiece, with some microwave water, and we were sparring. And from that point on, I kind of went from there and fell into the sport. But over time, it's something that grown really accustomed to loving, you know, and I don't think it'll ever be something that I'll lose.
Yeah. And now, like a lot of guys too, like you say, you have a wrestling background, and when they start MMA, they tend to fall back on that wrestling a lot too. Do you feel like you're starting to branch out from that?
Yeah, I think that happened like my second amateur fight. I think my first amateur fight was like a wrestling clinic. I threw a big, bull over right hand, and I broke my hand the first round. And then from that point on, I was grabbing the guy every chance I could and slamming him, doing crazy stuff. And I got done with the fight, and I was Dean Thomas was my corner and my coach. He's still my MMA coach today. I look at, and we were in the back, and I was like, man, I felt like I was just in a wrestling match up there. And he's like, well, then don't shoot. He's like, that's the easiest way to learn how to strike is, just don't take him down. I was like, and from that point, I don't know why that clicked me, but from that point on, I was just like, dictate the pace and then learn how to, adapt to everything. So if I'll shoot if I have to, if I see it's there, but I learned how to strike, just off of putting myself in the position, throw myself in the fire and, trying to score these knockouts and these finishes that I've gotten over my career. And that's just who I am. I wrestled hard and I fight hard. It's an entertaining style for sure.
Yeah. And you just mentioned Din Thomas too, and I know he just recently left ATT. How much will he be missed, just from, your personal opinion?
From my personal opinion, I'm gonna still try and get my work in with him whenever possible. But from the gym perspective of American Top Team, I'm sure that they miss him to some extent. He's been there pretty much from the beginning, and but they move on like the sport does, and evolve, keep going. They got great coaches like Mike Brown, Steve Bruno, Steve Mako, Master Pahumpa. The list goes on and on. Down there, it's a hotbed for the sport.
Yeah, for sure. And you say you still want to work with him too. How much of an impact has he had on you so far?
Man, a good amount. Him and Dan Donaldson. Shout out Dan Donaldson and his garage. That's the blueprint of my MMA career. I like I told you, I come from wrestling, but MMA is its own sport. You can come from boxing, but you don't get to wear shoes in the octagon. So you got to figure stuff out. And those two guys have really molded who I became as a fighter. And when I moved down to Coconut Creek to pursue it, my pro career even more, I feel like they gave me a good starting point. A lot of guys go in there with flaws that they don't even know they have. I was fortunate enough to have good coaches that cared about the foundations of the sport, foundations of, a new sport at that, caring about how it's broken down. So I'm very fortunate for that.
Yeah. And I know you were set to fight Travis Foster, I think at Maverick MMA 14 in September. You tore your LCL. How did that injury happen?
Sparring. I want to say it was probably 10 or 9 days out. I was, probably it may have been my last sparring. I may have had one more to do, but, just freak accident. I could get into it, but, the reality is it's a tougher sport, and, I had to pull out for it, had to get the surgery, Shout out to Travis Foster. He made a nice post. Him and I went back and forth for a moment because, I pulled out, which understandably, it's not fun when your opponent pulls out, especially so close. I'm sure he was looking forward to it as much as I was for this fight. I know there was a title on the line. I'd love to still get that belt at some point, but he was big respect for him because he made a post about my recovery because I think he had been through something similar. And
okay.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah. How humbling was an experience like that for you?
Man, that was super humbling, and then even more so, my first day that I got cleared was the last day of freedom for most of the world because the pandemic hit. So I had 7 months of recovery. And now it's been, I don't know, what is it, since February or, 2-3 months of lockdown. So it's been almost, 10 months, a year since I've got to really do what I was put on this earth for. And it's different. You really find out more about yourself in this type of situation. I've been grateful enough to grow from it. So
yeah. Now, obviously, like the pandemic's a very negative thing, but just like having this extra time too, like right after your recovery, to kind of maybe just like work your way back up to where you were. I mean, how much is that benefiting you right now?
Like I said, I'm still growing. Even though I'm not competing, and I'm still active, whether it be, growing my physical stature or my mental game, or, my techniques that I'm polishing up every day in the gym with my great training partners and coaches that I've been fortunate enough to have during this time. I'm always working, pandemic, no pandemic, injury, no injury. Even when I was injured, physical therapy started 2 days after. I would have done it the first day, but I was still kind of loopy from the anesthesia, so it's always something. I'm never going to be complacent. I'm never going to be stagnant, because that's just negative in life, I feel.
Yeah. And now you train at American Top Team. We mentioned that earlier. How long have you been at ATT?
Like I said, I started with Dean Thomas. So he had a branch of an American Top Team, like a satellite affiliate school. And that's that school that I went to help my buddy out that I told you about. So it's the only team I've ever known. But moving down to headquarters, I probably did that 3 or 4 years ago, I want to say, when I turned pro. After my first pro fight, I probably went there. Maybe right before my first pro fight. Yeah. It's been 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And have you heard anything about have you been able to get in the gym at all? Do you know when that will open up?
They're slowly working things back down there. Like I said, Broward's a little tighter. I don't think they really want too many people in the gym. If you have a fight, they've been really good at, having one coach there. You get your training partner in. I know Amanda Nunes has been getting her training session in for her fight coming up. I know Greg Hardy had his way of getting his stuff done. If you're in the dorms, you can obviously, the whole facility is to your, exposure. But yeah, it's been a little tougher, getting back up there for training or down there for training than it is to, kind of stick with my little crew that we've been fortunate enough to have, which are all American Top Team affiliates,
Yeah. Being like a lightweight too, who are some of those guys that you are working with right now?
I don't think they would appreciate. I mean, they would appreciate the shout out and the love, but I know that the gym is kind of pretty tight right now, so we'll have to save that one.
Yeah, no, sounds good.
But they're all people that I've been with since the beginning. Nothing's really changed. It's the group isn't as big, because I don't have the gym, but the loyalty, that we have as training partners is still there. So I've worked with the same guys that have helped me for previous fights before, and so.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, there's, especially on the regional scene too, and a lot of these promotions, when the fights are going to be is kind of no one really knows. Mm-hmm. But for you, when would you like to be back by? Is there a timetable that you kind of have in your head?
I mean, I know Florida, they were having UFC Jacks, up in Jacksonville. I know they're talking about Titan fighting just happened last night.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm ready to, shout out to Willie Siskin, man, with Maverick MMA. Willie, I was in your inbox the other day, man. I know you're gonna see this. Number one, baby, number one. I want first phone call back when you guys open up. But I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm training. I just got done training. I'm still, still leaking from that, the training session I just had.
Yeah. And I know you brought, you were talking about Foster too, and how you guys are kind of on good terms. How confident are you that you will see him in the future?
Man, I mean, if Willie wants to put that one together up there, let's do it. I know I don't know if he's a Jackson Wink guy or if he's from Jersey or however that one works, but I really don't care about the opponent. I really don't. I don't care about, who it is. Even in the UFC, I know Khabib and Conor and all these other guys like that. That's great. Those are the guys right now. It's their time. But I'm a competitor. You put me in there, I'm going to just compete and I'm going to want to win. And that's my ultimate goal, is to become the best competitor that I can, the most optimal competitor that I can be. And if Travis is, in the running at some point, then our paths will cross. But if not, life goes on. He's not someone that I'm itching to fight and begging to fight for. If we get that one back, it was supposed to happen. Cool. Both of our teams know how to train for that one. We'll go in there and we'll have a good showing. But I'm not gonna in the regional scene. I'm not gonna chase down anyone. I'm not gonna chase down. I'm gonna chase down some belts. Put up a trophy case in my house, maybe. But I mean, in reality, we're prize fighters, so the biggest prize possible.
Yeah, for sure. And one of my last questions too is just kind of going off of everything you've said too, and I know you had mentioned that you obviously had the injury, you recovered from that. Now it's the quarantine. What's that hunger level at right now for you? I mean, is this the hungriest you've been to get back in there just because of that long layoff?
Starving, my friend. I've been competing, since I was 11. I've been competing at a high level since I was a teenager, in my opinion. And since I was 11, this is by far, like, not even a close second, the longest layoff I've ever had. I've had some injuries in my day. Nothing that I've had to go under the knife for, thank God. But this is the first one. But yeah, this is, like I said, humbling experience. I'm very grateful to be back. I've learned a lot from it. And I can't wait to show everyone, whether it be a Maverick down here, anyone, anywhere, show them what I've learned.
Yeah. All right, Gabriel. I mean, that's it for my questions. Anything that you want to say before I let you go?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to get on, the Skype with you, man. Have a little time
For sure.
Exposure, talk about the thing. It's good to see someone out here. I know Eric put us together, and
for sure.
Willie too, man. I want to give him a big shout out to Maverick MMA again. Those guys have been, nothing but aces to me since the first time I ever came in contact with him. So big shout out to them. American Top Team, Dean Thomas, Dan Donaldson, all my training partners. You guys know who you are. Can't wait to get back. Can't wait for things to start, get moving again for everyone.
Yeah. All right, Gabriel. Well, thank you so much, and I wish you the best.
Thank you, sir. You too.
All right. Take care.